Get your merch, get your merch. Get your merch, get your merch.
Yeah, man. So, thank you guys so much for tuning into the sit down.
How you doing, guys?
This is episode 13, 14, I think. Yeah, 14.
It's been a couple of shows.
It's been a few, episode 14. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am joined this evening with the amazing, that's your moniker. The amazing Bryan DeCaul. Thank you for sitting down with me, man. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
And as always, we are sponsored by Barbers by Nature. So get your hair cut. And if you need help with any type of, no, not any type. If you need help with life insurance or finance, hit up my beautiful wife, Daniel Tademy. Yes. If you want to be on the sit down, I forgot. If you want to be on the sit down, send me a message, and then we'll get in touch with you to start the screening process and have you as a guest on the show. If you want to partner with us through sponsorship, hit us up as well, and we can get you your product or service shown on the show every week. What's more better than that? Nothing.
Coming to you live.
Yeah, right, right. So thanks for sitting down, man.
Yes.
So since you were here, what's been going on? What's life been like? What's business been like?
Life and business, man.
Any changes?
Well, life is going well.
Right.
You know, still working, still helping families. Spending time with the wife a little bit more. You know, I've been quoted to be maybe not an alcoholic, but a workaholic. A workaholic. And my wife was like, hey, I know you're working a lot, I know you're helping families, but let's cut it down a little bit. So we came to an agreement. You got to meet halfway, and she said no more Sundays. So I was like, all right, no problem, not a problem. I won't do as much, but I still have some things I already had that I have to commit and do. So that's good. And man, business. Let's talk about business.
Talk about business. So what have you? How have you? Was COVID, or when COVID hit, like, how did that transition your business? Did you even have to transition your business, or what was that like for you?
Well, before COVID, as far as in the typical financial arena, usually me and you would be sitting kneecap to kneecap, going over some strategies, education, right? So I'd have to drive to you, or somebody have to come to the office. So it could be kind of like a challenge matching up schedules, right? Because everybody's busy, they have things, they know it's important, but it's just finding time to get it in there on top of all the other things we have to do as adults. And so when COVID happened, honestly, I had been doing virtual meetings almost 4 years before that.
Really?
Yeah, so I was using GoToMeeting, then I switched to Zoom, and Zoom came out with a new upgraded version, so I have the Pro version, right? So it's been a stepping stone, but for me, it was kind of almost seamless, that going from, meeting people one-on-one. Now, do I like to do that? Heck yeah, I love meeting people one-on-one. It's a different touch, it's more personable, you get to kind of understand the body energy, but, Zoom is allowing us to do things that would normally take maybe 1 to 2 years to accomplish. You're doing in 3 to 6 months now.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It is awesome.
So I mean, as far as like impact, it wasn't really too much of a difference. So that's actually pretty cool.
Not for me. Now I have some other people that you got to understand. They haven't used the virtual. They haven't used the Zoom.
That's right.
Yeah. So for them, it's like, oh shoot, I got to learn this technology. And I kind of, I have an IT background. So for me, it was just showing my team that, hey, nothing's really going to change. It's actually going to be better, because now you can meet people from all over, right? Rather than just maybe like a 10, 60-mile radius. We're talking to people in New York, Mississippi, Michigan, Arizona, Canada, all over now through what? You can even run it through the telephone, man. Cell phone.
That's crazy. It's amazing how much, and we're talking about that off before, like it's amazing what you could do with just simple pieces of technology.
Simple technology that's right there that
is right there.
We don't utilize. So it's using the tools that you gotta have.
I think especially for what we do with Tademy Media, like even pre-COVID, like a lot of what we were doing was through utilizing different technologies.
Exactly.
And what COVID did, I think a lot of people felt this, even major corporations.
Exactly.
You know, what COVID did was show everybody what technology can actually do.
Exactly.
Because I don't think we even realized, I went to school, I went to ITT.
Okay.
Tech for a little bit.
Yeah. I had a friend that, went there.
Yeah, before they went bankrupt.
Yes. He tells me about it all the time. He's like, yeah, I got my degree there, and now they're not there anymore. I was like, man, okay.
Does it still count though?
I don't know, man.
I guess it depends on
the employer. I don't have a degree. I got a public high school diploma. So
is it?
Tell you.
I got a GED, so. But I went to ITT Tech for a little bit because I had an interest in technology. At the time, I thought that I had an interest in like the background parts of technology.
Okay.
Developing, getting all of that. Then when I got there, I realized, oh no, I just like using it.
Yeah, just like,
and learning different pieces that way. But when I was there, they were saying like technology, like in the technology industry, and at the rate that it progresses and grows and develops, like there was like it moves so quick.
Yes, it
like
does.
Within like half a year, we're already doubling the speeds or doubling the capabilities that it can do. So by the time the consumer gets it, I mean, we're getting technology that they developed like a few, and they're moving. And so I think what COVID showed everybody was like, look what technology can do. Like
sped us up like 10, 15 years, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to change. I think a lot of what we see, even the virtual doctor visits, I think those things are here to stay.
Telemed, man.
Yeah.
I have some clients that have been using it. They love it. Don't have to go there, talk to your doctor, do this, do that. Whatever prescription or medication you need, and they write you right there.
That's insane. I seen an ad. There was this ad for this piece of technology that they were using for children.
Okay.
That you can like, you put this monitor on the child, or you put this something that you put on the child or whatever, and it gives the doctor through camera, because you're doing a virtual visit.
Yeah.
It gives the doctor like all the information that they need. Whether it can check your ears, it can check your temperature, it could check your skin, it could do all of these things.
Make sure everything's
like so they don't even have to see you in the office. Man. To even check you, to give you a checkup. Like you just do this at home, and then it gives them all the information they need.
That's crazy to think that you can do that now. Why weren't we doing it before is the question.
I don't think the public wanted to.
Yeah,
but now it's like
ready for
you gotta do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I for the people that I want to give the people a brief rundown of what it is you do that may be seeing you for the first time.
Okay.
So just talk a little bit about, because you said helping families.
Yes.
Like what are you doing to help families, and how are you helping them?
Absolutely. When you think about COVID and things that are going on right now, a lot of people are not working. We got 40 million people have filed for unemployment. That's the highest it's been since 1980s. So we really got to take a look and see what's going on. On top of that, we talked about money, cash flow. We said median income still $55,000. It's been the same for the last 20, 30 years. So
the median?
Yeah, the median income. People are still making the same dollars, but you got to think 50,000 in 2020 is not the same 50,000 buying power in 2010. So the value of the dollar is going down, cost of living is going up, median income still the same. So people are still trying to make ends meet with the same income that their family did. And so when you talk about helping families, the first thing we got to talk about, Daniel, is we provide education, basically a world-class financial education. And it's very key because most Americans, we go to school, get the good grades, we get a job, and we work for money. And then we never learn how to have that money work for us. So we want to make sure that, the individuals, business owners, families, everybody has an opportunity to get that basic financial education. And if you want to go expand on it, we can do that. But for most people, they just need a basic understanding of, the six legacy concerns. And that's what we teach about.
I was, my thing, and we spoke about it before, my biggest thing is, a little bit about what you just said too. Like, I want my money to work for me. I don't want to just keep working for money. And I don't want to have to be present.
Yes.
In order to make money.
Absolutely.
And personally, my goal is to, for starters, and I want to say for starters, but my goal is to establish 6 streams of income.
Hey,
like that's my goal. Is I want to be able to have 6 streams of income, and I don't want to have to be present for all of them. There's no way. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to be present for some.
A couple, but some are automated.
But you want that. You want that. And the reason why, the main reason, is just because going to a 9 to 5 just don't do it for me. It's just not enough.
Me, man.
it's just literally not enough. And
well, it's never going to be enough. Yeah. Even if you're working 2 9 to 5s, 3 9 to 5s, it's never going to be enough.
Because you can only put in a certain amount of hours before your body just...
And the job's only going to pay you what the job's going to pay you.
Yeah. And then someone else tells you what your value is, what your time is.
Yeah.
You know, literally you're exchanging time for currency. So someone is putting a price on your time.
A price, a limit on what you can accomplish. It's like, you know, driving in a car, you know, Mercedes is a very nice car. And if that Mercedes, like you know, I'm a car guy, V8 twin turbo, and you got a speed limiter on, you can't go past 120. That's like saying, hey, I can never make more than 50,000. I'm stuck there. But you're not really stuck there.
Right. You're just stuck there.
Exactly.
So what do you think about the mentality of, or I guess escaping that mentality? Because I know where my brain had to go in order to get out of that mentality. Like what do you think about, you know, where the mind has to be to first off say, I can't make it on this, or I don't want to be here, and then to actually say I'm gonna do something about it. Because you can think it, but to actually put those thoughts into action,
yes, that's a whole nother story, right?
A whole nother. So like, what do you say about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I would say the mindset. You know, we do live in America. There's a lot of opportunity, right? Everybody. They swim, they fly, they do everything they can do. What? They don't go to China, they don't go to Puerto Rico, they don't go to Colombia. They come to what? The US of A, right?
Right.
Because of opportunity. And so, you know, with all this opportunity, you have to think it goes back to the public system, right? We're going to school, we're getting, you know, the good grades, we're going to get jobs. And that's the same thing that we perpetuate for most families, what? To our children. So our children grow up what? Man, so me and you were thinking, hey, when we grow up, we gotta what? I gotta go to school. I gotta get the good grades. I get a job. And so it's the same thing. And all we do is we put a limit on our life, though, as far as expectations, because you're thinking, man, I'm gonna go to school, get this, you know, good job, or say good job, right? Make $60,000. Whew, 60,000. But I'm working 9 to 5. And then what happens? Next year you're making 60,000. Next year, okay, I'm at 62 now. And you're like, it's so little when you think Jeff Bezos is making $1 million a day, right? You have all these other people there. Do they have a different opportunity? No, everybody has this. We all have equal opportunity,
right?
But what's not the difference is the way they think. So you got to think it's the way you're brought up, your habits, right? Your mindset. You get it from who? You get it from your parents, your uncles, your aunts. You get it from your school, right?
Right.
And so it's a very limiting, we call it middle class mindset. That's what it is. So you got to be able to switch for the world class, but you got to think to change yourself, there's a lot when it comes to changing yourself. Mentally. You know how hard it is. You got to eat, right? Work out. That's you can see it's physical, but when you're changing your mind, it's not. I can't say, hey Daniel, now tomorrow I want to be a millionaire.
Right.
You can, but that's not going to mean you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow, right? There's like you said, there's got to be work in action. So I believe it's switching from the middle class. You know, when you talk about sitting at the table, you know, a lot of people are begging for crumbs when you can have the steak, the lobster, the Moët, the 100-year bottle, like everything. You can have that, but you're settling for the small amount.
I think when it comes to switching that mindset, I told my wife this too. We were talking about, I think I told her last week at some point, whatever. And then I told her, a lot of people want a lot of things and they say that they want it, but they don't put in the action to get it because it's not easy to attain. It's not easy, to put in the work.
You're going against what you normally do. You're going against the grain. You're
going against the grain, and you have to literally like put things into action that starts the reprogramming process. And I think that's why it's even hard, because if you were raised in a household where your parents always told you could do it, and boom, 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 there were no mental limitations, and go do this, and and they were instilling this in you, it's easier for that person.
High self-esteem.
It's easier for that person to walk into a room and not really haggle, but negotiate $1 million for an investment. Because that's all they've known. Like they're not intimidated by that.
Exactly.
But if you're raised like what you said, the middle class mindset, and that's all you see, go to school, get a job, and maybe hopefully you can use a degree that you got, but because you might not even be able to do that.
40 million people without jobs, man.
Yeah.
They got most of them probably have degrees.
Probably. And if they do find a job, it's probably not going to be in the field that they got the degree in.
Exactly. So when you talk let's dive in a little bit deeper, right? So they talk about cash flow quadrants. So we talked about this a little bit, or the legacy ladder. So, most of us start off as an employee, 9 to 5, we're working for money, right? Eventually, hopefully in your lifetime, you realize that, hey, what I'm doing now is not going to get me. They call it the definition of insanity, right? I'm doing the same 9 to 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you're expecting to get a different result. Is not going to happen. So you take maybe that knowledge or that skill, like you said, you like IT or technical. Now we try to go to the next area is self-employed. So we're going up the ladder, right? So every time you go up the ladder, it takes a different type of awareness, self-consciousness, right? Subconsciousness, right? Different level of thinking. So now you're going to, hey, I'm going to show up, work a couple hours and get a paycheck, to now I'm going to show up, I'm going to dictate a little bit more of how much I'm going to make, self-employed, right? Which is good, because now you're taking more ownership of your life, right? So you're in a good position. But a lot of people kind of battle, being like, oh, I got to go get this safe, secure, guaranteed job. I'm just to let you know, 2020, there's no such thing as safe, guaranteed, secure jobs. If you're still saying that, you're living in the 80s.
Right.
This is 2020, baby. Right? Yeah. In Florida, you can get hired and fired the same day. I've seen it.
Jeez.
And then what do people do? Oh, I got to go look for another job. So we want to help you move from, hey, am I saying there's anything wrong with being an employee?
Right.
No.
Right.
I started there. I worked there for many years. But eventually I said, well, damn, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of, hey, looking at my paycheck, and my paycheck's gone before I even get my check. And so I started a side hustle very young. My dad, he comes from, a country called Grenada, very small island where he was milking goats and cows, right? Wow. And he came here, he started off from the bottom. He worked his way up. He's a very successful individual, right? No college degree. Well, self-made, self-educated.
Right.
And he became a self-employed person. Then he became, a business owner, right? So it's really, when you got to look at it, though, Dan, you got to look at what is the vision of your life? What do you want out of life? Most people don't know. It was like, oh, I want to get the job because I want to make an extra 20 grand. Okay, but why do you want to make the extra 20 grand? Is it so that your kids can go to the better school? Can you take a little bit more trips? Is it instead of getting McDonald's now you can get something else, right? There's got to be a real reason why. And if you're not sick, you're not disgusted of where you're at, you're going to fall into comfortable. I just want to be comfortable.
I had to, for me, I know I've done a lot. I've done a lot of different jobs, but like, and I've had a lot of jobs, but every single job I've had, since I can remember, man. Like my first real job, not like when I was like in high school or something like that. But after graduating high school, every job I've had, I've always had another thing on the side going on.
Yeah,
now, not all the time was it always making money? Yeah. Not all the time. You know?
It happened to me as well.
It was just like a hobby. But I've developed a culture from within myself of having a 9 to 5, but I'm working on something else over here because of what I want to do. Yeah. But I never, and I was talking to my brother about it earlier today, and I was just saying, you know, and he develops, he does a lot of film and things like that. So he's a business owner, and he's also now working, you know, on films now, moving into the filming industry through creating content. Big
industry.
Yeah, huge industry. A lot of opportunity. So much opportunity, especially now in 2020 with the utilization of social media, YouTube and all those things. Like you can literally distribute on your own now. All over. And be successful at distributing on your own.
People want to listen to new things, man.
Yeah, especially if it's good.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, I was like, you know, we've always had a mindset of, you know, doing things different or against the grain, moving against the grain.
Yeah.
We might not have been able to articulate or really understand why, but we've built this culture within ourselves to always be doing something else.
Exactly.
And
working hard.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time because, you know, even with this, I still have a 9 to 5. Yeah. Hey. And there's a lot of times I don't sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what you said, my why though. So I want to get into that because I really couldn't articulate it then, but now my why, especially with having a family, is I want to set my family up. Yeah, my why has gotten tougher.
Yes.
You know, and it's through understanding and self-discovery within myself. You know,
absolutely.
Family, legacy. You know, you want to make an impact that expands, you know, past dollar signs.
Absolutely.
You know, even though dollar signs is dope and they're important,
gotta have money to live.
Yeah.
And you couldn't be doing this if we didn't have any money.
It would be pretty hard for me to focus on the
Nobody would want to listen to two bums talking about life. Come on now, you know.
But it's true though. Like people want to hear life information from people that they consider to be successful. That the information you're giving.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's get a little. I want to hear a little bit about you know, where you've come from, a little bit about your testimony. Like you know, so like what kind of reinforces or enforces your why, you know, and what was that like for you to even discover that why you push?
Well, you know, at a very young age, you know, I got a lot of my habits, thought process from my dad, because that's who I pretty much grew up with. So he told me you gotta be strong, you gotta be respectful, yes sir, no ma'am. So I've learned those things because you have, you know, a military background. And, you know, he said anything that you do, you got to give 100%. You got to give your best. And, you know, I was going through school, and, you know, school for me, I enjoyed school. School was kind of like, hey, I'm getting out the house, having fun, talking to my friends, right? School for me wasn't, I'd say, necessarily a challenge.
You was smart?
Yeah, like, I could say I had a 3.8, yeah. Jeez. Right? So I would go through school, advanced classes, honors, all these things without really, you know, sometimes, you know, people have to study. I wouldn't have to do that, right? Because I figured out the trick in school. School's all memorization.
Yeah.
So I'll go through this, read it, study it. I know it. Danny, I can tell you that. Next week, ask me about it. What are you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about. Because why? Because I figured out I'm learning all this knowledge to do nothing with it after I'm done. All that stuff that I learned in school, I don't apply it now. I use what? Basic math. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That's pretty much my extent. Yeah. So as I went through the schooling, I figured out, man, you got all these people. You got 4.5 and 5 point, and some people not doing well. And the system is designed for a specific person to learn. Not everybody learns that way, right? Not everybody can just memorize something. Some people are more hands-on, right?
Yeah.
So as I develop and I go, eventually, graduate high school, get out of there, and I thought I wanted to be in the medical field, right? Because I took, chemistry and organic chem and all these things, right? And I was going through the process, and at the time when I went to school, I had bright futures. So I literally had almost 200 credits to get any type of degree I wanted to get. And I was in school, and it was kind of like a shift. I'm like, I'm learning and I'm getting this education and I'm passing my classes, but for me, I was just like, is this really it?
Right.
Is this what life's about? And eventually I came to the point where I dropped out, because one day in my classes, I was taking a physics class, and there's nothing to say wrong with people that come from another country, but the teacher that was teaching me physics had a very strong accent, and I literally could only hear 50% of what she was teaching. I don't even know how some of these people pass the class, to be honest. And
wow.
Was it my fault that I wasn't understanding what she was saying because she had an accent, or was it her fault that she wasn't teaching me? It's nobody's real fault, but at the end of the day, I couldn't learn like that.
Right.
So now I'm spending extra time to pass a class to go to the next class, right? And so I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. This is a lot of wasted time. That's why I felt I'm wasting time, right? And I dropped out. My parents were pretty upset, man. I was supposed to be the golden child, go to school, get the degree, be the doctor, right? Well, I'm not a health doctor. I'm a money doctor now, which pays better and is less stress. And I love it, right? And so, with doing that, I just kind of figured a lot of self-reflection, self-looking into myself, doing that. And I figured out what type of individual I am, right? They have all these tests, the Myers-Briggs, right?
Yep.
The bank code, the this, the that. And in this life, the school doesn't teach you who you are. Like, how do you learn? What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you love? It's just teaching you information. All we learn is information. And then at the end of the day, we don't even know who we are, Daniel, what we want to accomplish.
Right.
Right? And so I figured that, man, I knew that working a 9-to-5 or working in that employee mindset wasn't going to help me get some of the big goals and aspirations that I wanted to do. So looking at myself, and then also too, when I was about 23, 24 years old, right, I was working for an IT company, very successful. They were doing great things. We fixed computers, network servers, televisions, right? And when it was a great company, and the company made some money, but I was still not fulfilled. And I got to a very low place in my life, and it happened very quickly. I didn't even realize it, to be honest. When I look at it, I was in a severe depression at the time, right? And I was so depressed. My girlfriend at the time, Alexia, is now my wife. She was like, "Hey, what's going on with you?" I'm just like, I'm just feeling, go through the motions. Right? Shaking off all those things. Yeah. And at the time I was doing a little partying, having fun, and I was just like, it's like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Same thing, same going. Like, is this what life about? Doing the same thing over and over. And I got to a point in life where I was actually thinking about committing suicide.
Wow.
About 8 years ago, right? And I was just like, I just felt stuck, no hope. Kind of like a lot of people do these days, and I really needed to get out of my position. And I'm a believer, I believe in faith, family, finance, and fitness. And I prayed and asked the Lord. I got down on my knees, right on the side of my bed. I was like, "Hey, Lord, I need, I not all the, preach here at church. Like, we're having a real talk. Like, Lord, I need some help."
Right.
And I prayed. I was like, "Lord, I need an opportunity." That's what I need, an opportunity, right?
Opportunity.
And not even a week later, on the same day, Daniel, the same day I prayed, a week later, I got introduced to 2 opportunities, right? Financial industry, and another was retail. And I was like, man, this gotta be God talking to me, man. And so when I listened to the information, I didn't know anything about financials. All I knew was how to make money and how to have a bank account, how to spend it. Yeah. And when I talked to those individuals, I learned more in that 1 hour about things that were really important to me, because I know you have to have money to what? To live, to do things. You can't, me and you wanted to travel. We can't just say, okay, we're going to Fiji right now. No, we gotta, we gotta have a passport. We gotta have a plane ticket. We gotta have money to eat, right? You gotta take care of the family. So I knew that wasn't gonna get me there. And did I think I could do it at the time? I didn't think I could do it. But I stepped out on faith that, hey, if this got introduced to me, it wasn't just because it happened coincidence. It was meant to happen. Right. But I was open-minded to say that just because I wanted to be in IT or medical, I wasn't just one track mind saying IT, medical, IT, medical, IT. A lot of people get tracked on, oh, you went to school for this. Is this. And you got to think there's so much more opportunity than that if you allow to be open-minded. So that's really, battling that, with getting this opportunity, it really helped me figure out kind of what my purpose was in life. What I want to do, what I want to enjoy, loving life, enjoying life. Right. And then, last year, 31 years old, get diagnosed with what? Stage 3 mediastinal germ cell cancer, right? Basically had tumors. Wow. I had a mass in my chest, but I had tumors on my heart, lungs, and intestines, right? And for about 30 days, I was literally dying. I didn't even know it. Basically, I had fluid building up in my lungs because of all the things that were going on. And I started having sharp pains. I couldn't take a breath like that. I would be like, that's it. I laid down before and I realized that, my diaphragm wasn't even going up and down at the time. Wow. And I didn't even realize it. And so, I went through a serious, health crisis. And when you go through a life or death experience, I'm not saying everybody needs to do it, but when you go through a life and death experience, you really get shaken up to see, honestly, excuse my language, what the hell am I doing with my life? Wow. Right? Because you're like, hey, I might not make it. Right. Did the things I do, what was I doing before? How is it going to help my family now? And hey, will I survive this? Right. And I give thanks to the Lord for, healing me 100%. I'm cancer free now, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle, going through chemo, every day through that process, like a 3-month process, every day, Daniel, was a life or death battle. I'm talking about life or death. Right. Like, hey, your red blood count's low. We got to give you transfusions. We got to give you steroids. We got to give you this. We got to do that to keep up with the the medication and stuff that they're injecting in you almost 8 hours a day for 5 to 7 days, and then you take a break for your body to build back up. And guess what? You got to redo it. So every chemo treatment, it compounds from the last one. Jeez. So I had to do 4. So the first one, I'm like, yeah, man, this is not too bad. Right. But, when I did my first treatment, it was at nighttime. So I was literally, they started like 8 or 9, and I was going until morning. So I didn't get any rest. And then you repeat the process again. Then I was like, guys, I can't do that again. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Because when your body's had its limits, you're like, man, we got to change something, right? And so we switched it. For all the other ones, I would do day sessions, which was better so I could rest during the night. Because if your body doesn't rest, you're not getting better. I'm not talking about just sleep. I'm talking about your body's shut down, you're relaxing, and it's able to heal, right? A lot of people sleep, but they're not getting rest. Right. It's different. And so going through that, went through the first treatment, it was pretty good. Second treatment was a little rocky. Basically had an infection in my blood. Right, so now on top of all the other concerns, now I'm getting pumped with antibiotics again now. Jeez. On top of that. So this arm right here was, during the process I gained like 20 pounds of fluid weight. So I was like blown up, looking like a marshmallow doughboy. Wow. And I looked at my foot and I was like, is that my foot? I was like, what the heck is going on? I was like, because I gained weight from all the fluids they pumping on me. And every chemo is compounding. So we talked about our money compounding. Imagine, the health every time is compounding to where the fourth one, man, it's just like, I got to get out of here. I got to get off this. Like, no more. literally. And so, you know, would I wish that on my enemy? No way. I would never want anybody to experience that, because honestly, this is my doctor told me, and I'm thankful for my doctor, Dr. Grow, right? He goes, honestly, he's a, oncologist specialist, cancer specialist. He's been in the industry 20 plus years.
Wow.
I was the second case he's seen like that. And the first person is a overcomer as well. I don't say survivor, overcomer. I'm not surviving these days. I want to overcome. I want to thrive, right? And he goes, literally, your body was built to withstand this. If it was anybody else, they probably wouldn't be here. Literally, if somebody else with my condition, they didn't have my body, because my body was healthy. He said this was with me for at least 2 to 4 years before I started having symptoms, Daniel.
Gosh.
Yeah. And when I realize it now, when I was back in the office, I realized I would start to get a little bit more fatigued, and I'm doing the same thing I normally do. And I'm eating better, but I'm not losing any weight. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? Am I working too much? Right? I'm going back, I'm workaholic, right?
Yeah.
Am I working too much? Let me scale back. And it really wasn't that. I literally had something inside my body
freaking growing.
Yeah.
Gosh, dog.
And I never would have realized it until Alexia and myself took a trip to Washington, D.C. for a company business trip. And on the plane back, there was a lady that was sick in front of us. She was coughing, sneezing. I think she had the cold, right? Honestly, it could have been COVID at the time, to be honest. We really don't know, right? Because it wasn't as widespread, but it was still going on during that time.
Yeah.
So that literally sparked up something inside my body where my body had a reaction. And that kind of sped up the process where I'm like, if I'm not getting better, I'm taking, Advil, these things here. I'm like, babe, I got to go to the hospital. Like, something's not really good. And they did a scan. They're like, man, we got to get you in emergency surgery. And,
they found
I'm thinking, I didn't see the pictures, but Alexia, so I'm thinking, hey, am I going to, I'm going in emergency surgery. Like, am I going to survive this surgery? Because sometimes you don't wake up, man. I'm like, I guess got married, right? I got a wife, I got family members, all these things going on, and it was a lot. And I wake up, and the first thing I saw was Alexia. I'm like, man, am I dreaming or am I alive? To be honest.
Wow.
And I saw her, I touched her. I was like, I couldn't move. I was literally like this, had a tube, breathing tube, all that, and I'm blinking, and I'm like, trying to, because I can't talk. And she touched me. I was like, oh, this is real. I could feel it. And I just like a relief, kind of came over me before they gave me all that news of what was really going on. So, it's, but, the Lord gives you tests, right? And your test is supposed to give a testimony. And he gives his he gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Ooh.
Right? And so I know that through the depression, suicide thinking, my business always wasn't good. I had some ups and downs, had some serious thing happen in my business, had to restart my business because I was sick, right? This year, but we're doing much better. And then the health thing. So I know every level. I know I'm going in the right direction because life is getting better, but I'm also going through bigger challenges. Right? Because if you're still dealing with the same things you dealt with 5-10 years ago, you're not growing, you're not doing anything. And obviously I'm not going to get too deep into it, but if you read the book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, he says the adversary goes after specific people. So if you're not doing anything, you're not worried about you. So obviously I'm doing what I need to do, so I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it until I die, man. And I'm not... a lot of people say, are you scared to die? No, I'm scared to live. I need to live now. I got to do whatever I can do because I don't know how long the window is open. What if the window's open for 5 years like Chad, the gentleman that was a part of Black Panther, right? What if I only got 5 years? I got to make sure I max it out. I can't use it, I was sick last year, man. Can you give me a couple dollars in cash out, man? No, man, I'm working. I'm doing much more than I was even doing before because I know, hey, I got things I need to do before I leave there. So that's a big deal.
That reminds me of this book, A Purpose-Driven Life, which is a really good book. By the way, and it's just living with purpose. And as you were talking, and you were talking about, overcoming it and coming out, and you're like, man, I want to live. I got something to do.
Yeah, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah, and I think, you having a reason
Absolutely
for fighting reinforce that will and that desire as well.
Yeah.
Which is dope. Which takes me to purpose, and I want to talk to you a little bit about purpose too. And even, moving and doing something in business.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, even when it comes to, finding whatever it is that you want to do, and even we talked about mindsets a little bit.
Yes.
Switching that mindset and actually putting in the work into it. I think a lot of that motivation, desire, and will to even flip that switch and then move into whatever it is, I think a lot of it is purpose as well. And even what you're doing, you're in the service industry because you're helping people, you're serving people.
Absolutely.
But what it is that you do, you found, your purpose in service to other people.
Yes, sir.
And I think a lot of people, when you do things for that reason, you'll be more successful at it. The quality is there.
Yeah.
And, and people can see that. And then you're fulfilled in what you're doing.
Exactly.
So you can't do things, for the sake of money. I do want 6 streams of income, but I want 6 streams of income within my purpose.
Exactly.
Because it's not just about grabbing this money.
Yeah, it's not just about, I want to have 6 streams of income.
Exactly. Because I just want 6 streams of income. No, I want purpose to be behind it. Exactly. Because if purpose is behind it, there's no fulfillment for me. When I exchange my goods or service to the individual, they don't get anything. Yeah, you get this product and you spent money from it. For it, but I want you to feel like something else,
service and experience,
was given, within that, and that's even why I strive so hard and I push, and I'm so excited about the sit down because, of course, the viewers, I want them to get something from our conversation.
Absolutely,
but I want the person if I don't like the person, or if I don't agree with the person, I don't want to have them. No, I want there to be purpose within even the conversation.
Absolutely.
Even though
Synergy,
we might not even agree, because I don't mind if I don't agree with a person that I'm talking to, because I can respect you, but I want it to be in purpose. So, what is that like for you, or even how did you even notice that this is my purpose? What was that like for you even?
Yeah, that's a really good question when you think about it, Daniel. I didn't really know it when I actually started doing it, because I just started it because, once again, I had an open mind. I was looking for an opportunity, right? So, man, it could have, I'm not saying it could have been flipping burgers, but it could have been any opportunity that it wasn't doing what I was doing to go to the next level. And you never know where it could take you. So I'm like, man, I was like, I know I don't know this education. I know my parents don't know this education, because if they knew it, they would have taught it to me, right? So there's a disconnect there. So if I can learn this, not to help you or anybody else, but to help me first.
Right.
Worry about me. Right? Take care of myself first, and then apply it. And then I was like, man, if I could teach this to other people that are in the same boat just like me, right? That don't know anything about it, I can really be able to make a difference. And my first year in business, was a struggle, right? I had mentors and coaches that were in California. We did calls. That's what we did. They came here for a couple of days. We did a couple of appointments and field trainings. It was great. And we did a big event, got a lot of traction, and then kind of left. And what happened was we didn't really know how to pick up the pieces, because we're brand new, right? I'm a greenie. I'm just getting started, right?
Right.
So, over time, I had to figure out, they said, hey, you gotta be aggressively personal developing, right? Aggressively personal developing. What does that mean? It's not just reading a book. Okay, I read that book. Yeah, it was a great book. No, you're reading that book to get a couple nuggets that you can specifically apply to get you to the next step. And with any business or company, there's a hierarchy, right? And the hierarchy goes up. Right? If you guys don't see it, it goes up. Every business is a pyramid. Every organization is a pyramid.
Every single one.
It's the way it's designed, guys. Okay? Hopefully you guys get it, all right? So
Oh man! Real quick, let me pause you on the pyramid.
All right.
Continue your thought, but I want to say this real quick. Mm-hmm. It is a pyramid, but I'm gonna tell you what, it has to be.
Yeah, of course.
It has to be a pyramid. It doesn't stand unless it is.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Triangle.
Go figure.
What's the right,
Dude,
whatever.
But I'm gonna tell you,
angle.
I'll tell you this. That's the reason why you see more workers than you see managers.
You got it.
Because you can't have 12 managers, you know what I'm saying, and only 6 workers. Who are they gonna manage?
You got the worker bees, you got the manager bees, you got the CEO, president bees, right? So the 9 to 5 people are literally doing all the work, but they're being managed and micromanaged by the people on top who's making double or triple what they're doing.
You're making. And you're doing the work to bring it in.
Yeah. So you're selling yourself short, right?
That's insane.
You're making 50, or let's just say you're making 100K a year, but you're making the company $1 million.
Exactly. How do you think they can afford to pay you 100K?
That's what kind of hit me in those younger years.
Gosh,
I'm like, if I'm working this, I'm making this.
Yeah.
You got to be making at least double or triple.
Or you're not going to pay me that.
Exactly. So when you think about that pyramid scale, the people on the bottom, you're going to be treated like the bottom. You're at the bottom of the scale. You're at the bottom of the total pole.
Yeah.
And then what happens is eventually you get sick and tired. You ask for what? Hey, boss. Right? What is a boss? It's a double SOB spelled backwards, right? You got to ask your boss, hey, boss, if this is me, I'm pretending you're my boss. I'm dressing sharp. I'm in my suit, right? Hey, I'm excited for my, 6 month, what do they call it? I don't even know because I haven't worked in 9 to 5 so long. What do they call that thing? Review? Oh, yeah. Review, raise, promote. I don't know, whatever it's called. I promote my own self. I do my own thing, right? So I'm sitting here. I'm like, hey, thank you, Mr. Daniel Tademy. I appreciate it, sir. I'm working hard. I'm doing this. Can I get a what 5% raise? Right. And they look at you, and they look at this, and they look at this, and they review and all that stuff. I'm like, we can't really do 5, which they can. They can. We'll do like 2.5 or 3%. How's that? Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, sir. Right? And you're excited over nothing because they just gave you a raise to equal the cost of living. And you want to know something? That 2% raise equals out to maybe $50 in the year. Yeah. Which is insane. Yeah. It is insane. Now I'm not saying you don't have people that need to do this and need to do that job. I'm not saying everybody needs to be self-employed business owner. That's not what I'm saying. No. But there should be much more entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs create jobs. What do you mean by that, Brian? What do I mean? Amazon is a huge corporation. They started with one person, Jeff Bezos, the 90s, right? Right. And he sold books, and he got expanded, he did this, and he did that. Now, you know how many people? I don't even know how many people he employs. It's tens of thousands. Oh, crap ton. And he's even employing other entrepreneurs to distribute his products. There you go. He's not hiring you as an individual, which people is a form of self-employment. Yeah. He's hiring self-employed business owners to do that. To do that. Yeah. So he's giving you a business strategy. Exactly, right? So he's giving you people the platform to really go out and do it. But you gotta be You gotta be willing to take that next step, right? That next step. And so as we go up the legacy ladder, right? You go from employee, self-employed. Now we break the threshold. Now we're a business owner. What is a business owner, right? Business owner, right, can take a system, which is save yourself time, energy, and money. The business is profitable, scalable, right? And a lot of self-employed people think they're business owners, Daniel, but they're not. Yeah. What do I mean? That means they're working. They may have some employees, yes, but if they don't show up for 30 days, that business is going to be failing. Right?
Right.
And so, yeah, you're making more money. Yeah, you got a couple employees. But if you don't physically work, like you said, you want to have 6 streams of income.
Right.
But you want it to be majority passive coming in. You get
Passive
checks,
income.
right? Well, paychecks, man.
Yeah.
Right? And then from the business owner, to be truly free, honestly, in the world, you got to be a business owner.
Yep.
That's what the U.S. was founded on. It wasn't founded on people flipping burgers.
No.
It was on me and you had a skill. We grew fruits, veggies. We did armor, jewelry, trade, right? You have an apprentice. You have the master guy, all that stuff, right? And we bartered and we trolled our skills. Now it's all just money now. So now we went from bartering our skills. You can make this cup to now I'm just buying it. I'm working. I'm just buying the cup.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, you got to go from that business owner to where you're making more income. Like you said, when you're sleeping, you're making money.
Yes.
Right? And then when you have that money growing to where, hey, now I don't have to be living paycheck to paycheck. Now I can pay up my bills for 3 months, 6 months, and I have some extra. And now I can use that money to go make other money.
Which is extremely
Time and money. That's
attractive.
what we're trying to do. Yeah.
It's extremely attractive.
You know, when I saw the business model of, you know, the financial firm that I'm working with now, you know, and I'm going to be honest, we're having a real conversation, right?
Right.
A lot of people think, oh, you're in financials, you're in sales, you do commission. Dude, I didn't give a rip what it was. It could have been selling pink socks to you. And they said, hey, I'll show you a system, I'll show you a business model you could do. I'm going to do it.
Right.
Because you have a system. That's what I want. I need a system to follow.
System.
I'm a good follower.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be a good follower before you can be a good leader. You got to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others and be a leader of leaders.
Jeez.
Right? And so it didn't matter to me if it came in blue, pink, purple dot. If I got to fly up to the moon, it was an opportunity.
Right.
You said, hey, you can learn some of my financial education. You can help some families. You can make money.
Right.
And obviously I wasn't making enough, so I needed an opportunity. And I saw, hey, I could work a business part-time, right? And I worked hard, you know, in my, you know, professional career in IT and construction, right? I never made more than $2,800 in a month.
Jeez.
And I busted my hump, man. I'm talking about 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours in a week sometimes. Working doubles, triples. I'm a hard worker.
Right.
Right? But at the end of the day, it came a point to where you can only work so hard. You gotta work smart. So they tell us half the story in school. Yeah, you gotta work hard. Yeah, you gotta get these great grades. You gotta do that. But they don't tell us also too, you gotta what? Be smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because if me and you are working on the farm 30 years, we might accumulate something, but it'd be nothing working at your own business.
Right.
Scaling out, Amazon, Uber, any of those. You're never going to, how are you going to catch up to it? You got the old traditional business model versus the new hybrid. You're never, it's like what we talked about technology.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be saying, hey, I'm still using an iPhone 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm still using an iPhone 1 when the 12's out now.
And the scary part about what you just said is that, you know, life and the system that is set up. And you were talking, man, I'm learning a lot. That's why I just be quiet and let you talk. Side note.
Yeah.
You know, the conversation that we're having here is priceless.
Yeah, it is.
Because,
I believe everybody should be having this conversation.
Dude, but this is stuff that they don't tell you.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you what, they don't tell you, but there's someone out there that's willing to sell it to you.
It's true.
And we're giving it to y'all for free. So buy the sit down merch.
For free. It is.
Hit the link in this post, the Shopify link, and get some sit down merch.
The sit down.
Mugs, and we have some shirts as well. So check those out. So about this, what you were just talking about, the system, you know, and you were talking, you were saying something about scaling.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing, you know, what I believe you did was invest.
Yes, 100%.
And that's something that I was missing for a long time, and I think a lot of people are missing, which is the investment part.
Yes.
Like you have to invest in what you want to grow, whether it's time, energy, money, resources.
Yes.
Like you have to find something.
Sweat equity. Yeah.
You have to find something that you're willing to throw your entire self at.
You got it.
And throw your entire resource at, which is your largest resource to throw at whatever you want could be your contact list.
Exactly.
People in your phone.
Yeah.
People in your network.
Yeah. That's true.
When I started the sit down, and I talk a lot about the sit down because that's what I have to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So, but when I conceptualized it and I said I wanted to do it, and I told my wife, you know, maybe I should brand this, and she was like, yes, it's dope. I really think you should. You would be a fool not to. I threw my contact list at it.
Yeah.
You know, and I booked out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
In like a month, maybe a month and a half.
Yeah.
But it was dope because people like yourself and people were willing to say, oh yeah, I'll do it. But they did it off of the strength, you know, of me, you know, not necessarily, they might not have caught the entire vision, but because of our relationship, they were like, yeah, I'll do it.
Relationship.
So trust, everybody has a contact list full of people that are just willing to say yes to your idea, and they don't have to see it. It might not even be for them to see, but they subscribe to who you are.
There you go.
And
they're making an investment in you.
They're making an investment in you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that, you know, what people have to do and catch the revelation of, you know, I'm going to invest in what I want to see grow. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because believe it or not, you're investing in something. You're investing in something.
You're buying and you're selling, or you're selling and you're buying. It's part of life.
In something. And it might not always be money.
Yep.
So don't think, oh, I'm not investing in anything. I'm just paying my bills. You're investing your time in something. You're investing your conversations into something, the people that you're talking to.
Yep.
So do you think that people that might have settled, do you think people even settle, or do you think they just, because I was going to ask you, do you think settling is even a real thing? Do you think people settle, or do you think they just like give up? Or do you think it's like a combination of probably
That's a good
both?
question. I think as far as that, I would say be a combination of both, you know, settling, right? And then kind of giving up, thinking that they can't do it. Because, you know, when you start something new, you know, people have to realize we live in a microwave society. Like, if we're going to do this talk show, I want to do this talk show now, right? And your expectations and what really takes as far as investment wise is two different things. So the investment and the time have to match up. If you want to become a millionaire, like you said, it's going to take work, but it's also going to take you making and saving money. You can't just work.
That's true.
You got to make and save. Right? So when you think about settling or giving up, a lot of people do that because honestly, our society is not growing mentally tough people. They're growing workers. Yes, sir. No, sir. Let me get my check Friday. Let me get my check next week. That's it.
Gosh, dog.
Yeah.
So how do you pop that?
How do you break that
mentally tough bubble?
How do you break it?
Is that the individual?
That's a great question. So, you know, I can only use my experience. One is, first, you got to have a mentor or coach in all areas of your life. You can't be born, right, and think that the little bit of knowledge you know is everything that exists in the world. You got to be very crazy to think that what you know is everything. So you got to first understand that I don't know anything. Yes, I am financially savvy. Yes, I know those things, but I still don't know anything. And people think that they get a little degree, get a little job. Oh, I know everything. Oh, I've seen it. I've done it all. You haven't done anything compared to some of the other people that have had half the resources and done 2 times as much. Right? So, you know, when you think about it, you have to first realize that 1, you don't know everything. 2, you need a coach, spiritual coach, money coach, physique coach, whatever. You got to have a coach, a mentor, because they have specialized knowledge. Like you have specialized knowledge to run this show. I couldn't run this show. I could tell you how I want the show to run, right? But it ain't gonna run like that because I need what? The lighting, the this, the that. I gotta have that specialized. You got the specialized knowledge. I have specialized knowledge. Sometimes you can get that specialized knowledge by going to events and things for free, right? For free. And when I say free, complimentary, right? I don't like the word free. Nothing's really free.
No, it's not free.
Complimentary.
They're gonna ask for your email address and contact info.
Right. Ask you to build you on a list, right? What we know it, right? Taylor, hey, get this ebook. You gotta put your email address, right? Which I'm eventually gonna do that later. Hey, you want to learn more information? Put your email, right? Because it's a resource. Contact.
Always be promoting. Get some mug.
Always be promoting, right? So when you look at it, you got to get the coach, got to get the mentor, and you got to be willing to take the information and apply it. Don't listen to just the first half. It's a two-parter. Take the information if it's complimentary or free, or even if you have to pay it.
Yeah.
Because they say knowledge is power if it's applied. If you never learn the information, you're going to be stuck doing the same thing. Same thing. Before you know it, we're 60 years old. Our kids are now 30 or 40s, and they're doing the same thing that we did, having the same problems. This shouldn't be the case, right? So you got to apply it, right? And you got to work it all together, and it takes time. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You look at me today, I look sharp, I'm talking, I'm eloquent, right? Dude, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, I would have been a stuttering Stanley on this. I'm like, pause it. You don't believe me? I called my wife right now. I was literally like Porky the Pig.
What?
My self-confidence was low. I wouldn't look, if you were looking me in the eye, I'd be looking at your shirt, I'd be looking over there, my eye contact was low. I didn't feel as self-confident. I didn't feel that,
Yeah.
And what it came down to is my belief system. Call it your BS. Now, some people have the other BS,
right?
But also, too, you got to work on your belief system. And if you never work on, if you go through life with an 18-year-old or 20-year-old belief system, you're gonna get 18-year-old, 20-year results.
Wow.
Right? So you got to upgrade. You always got to be upgrading. You always got to be getting better because the world is changing. It's always changing. You can't expect to do 2010 work in 2020. It's not going to work. Just like we use the example, Blockbuster, Netflix. You think Netflix is going to take advice from Blockbuster? No. You think Uber is going to take advice from Yellow Cab? Heck no. You think Amazon going to take advice from Walmart? No. Because they've surpassed them. They did a new required level of thinking in the belief system. They leveled up. You have to level up, man.
Jeez.
It's very important.
And
it's hard and it's challenging, yes. But it's required.
It's required.
It's required. And some people don't want to put that work in, that requirement. They rather just say, hey, Daniel, I'm okay with getting the 50,000. I'm okay with not being able to retire. I'm okay with working for the rest of my life. I'm okay with my children doing. They're okay with it. You can't be okay with that.
Yeah.
No way, man.
You said it, man. When you said that the world or the system is not producing mentally tough people.
No.
That right there, that is real, man. And I think, and even the people that aspire to be mentally tough and to break the mold and do something different, the worker mentality people, they pick at them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got picked on. Yeah.
You're out of line. You're doing something. It's just like,
you're thinking too big. You're not gonna make that money. You really think you could do that? Like they're second guessing you because they're putting their insecurities on you. But they know that if you make it, well, how else is it gonna make them feel? You know how many people that when I got started when I was 24 years old, they're like, hey, Bryan, when you get licensed, you start making money, man, I'm going to start with you. Some of my close friends, I'm going to be there with you.
Yeah.
I made money. Oh, what happened? What's the excuse? Oh, man, I'm too busy, things. like, man, you're BSing, not the belief system. You're a BSer, right? You're BSing your whole life, because if you said, hey, you made a commitment, you said, hey, I told you I'm going to be here and I don't show up, I'm not a person of my word. If you tell me, hey, I'm going to save or I'm going to get started, and you don't do it, you're not a person of your word. A lot of people are not a people of their word. They stopped believing in themselves. They gave up.
Yeah. And they, for whatever reason why they gave up, whatever the reason is, you know, like you said, they project their insecurities on you, and they try to get you to stop and give up for the same reasons that they did.
That's a good one.
I heard that a lot, man, and I've been doing music since I was 18 years old. And I love doing music. I love creating music. But you know, and I was told that I should give up for a long time.
Oh yeah,
by a lot of people.
So you give up. Even some of the ones that are closest to you.
Yeah,
which
a lot
is crazy.
And family, they'll tell you to give up too.
Yeah.
And I never did. You know. And I'm glad I didn't.
We wouldn't be on the show.
We would not. I was gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
The things that leads the thing that leads to the thing. TD Jakes says that, and I love that. I love TD Jakes. A lot of people say a lot of weird things about him, and they're wrong. But TD Jakes talks about the things that lead to the thing. Like, you don't know. You're telling someone to give something up because you don't feel like that thing is possible.
Yeah.
But what if you never know what that thing may lead to?
Yeah. So
don't tell them to give up on that because you might not think that's profitable. Because my brother says this a lot. And he was on the show and he talked about it.
Yeah.
And he was just saying how entrepreneurs, or, you know, people that think outside the norm, he was like, you jump off a cliff and you build a plane on the way down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't build that plane and you smack on that ground.
It hurts.
But and it hurts, but
you learn.
There you go.
You get better.
You get back up. You
fail.
Jump off another cliff.
At learning, right?
Right.
You keep doing it and tweaking. You can do. That's why, you know, the wealthy, you know, entrepreneurs, they're so successful because they figured out the science of life. If you told me no, they're not crying, you know, cuddling. Oh, Daniel told me no, I'm gonna stop. They're like, man, F Daniel, I'm going.
Just like the guy. I mean, you talk about you look at Microsoft and the dude and the Wright brothers, and no one was flying before the Wright brothers. Like, I don't think we comprehend that. Like, a human in the air was. You talk about someone breaking the mold,
thinking way outside. You know how many people told them no, right? Hey, you got light bulbs, you can't make a light bulb, right? People always tell me, I hear this so often. A lot of people say, hey, I want to think realistic. And one of my mentors told me, he said, speaking or thinking realistic is an excuse for thinking small. So people tell me, oh, I want to be realistic as far as my retirement goes. I'm like, what's realistic? Me and you talking on the Zoom is not even realistic.
If you think about it.
You're talking to me on a computer through a serviced on Wi-Fi.
I don't think we understand that. Wi-Fi is invisible connections.
Yes. Radio wave. Boom, boom, boom. Going all around. God, you listen through music through what? Frequencies. Is that realistic? Life isn't realistic.
No.
Life is what you make life of. Life is real. Me and you right now are real. So when people tell me, hey, it's not realistic, I'm like, stop thinking realistic and start thinking, what do you want and what do you need? Right? And when I talk about what do you want, what do you need, like for me, and I can only use myself an example, I need to be in a position where I'm making what? 6 figures a month. That's what I need.
That's what you want.
That's what I want, but I also need it. There's a difference though. Some people want to make 6 figures, but I need to make it because I have things I need to accomplish.
Got something to do.
I got something to do. So there's a difference between, hey, I want those Jordans and saying, hey, I need those Jordans.
Yeah. Nothing's stopping your need.
Right?
Things can block your want. I want it. Ain't nothing stopping. I need this.
I need to get I want to get another job, or I need to start a business. Right? And so you gotta when you think about those two, you gotta know what you want. You gotta know what you need.
That's big. 2 questions I want to ask you.
Yes.
2 things. I want to know how important is reading.
I want
to know how important reading is, and I want to know what's your legacy mark. You know what I'm saying? What's Bryan's legacy footprint? What does that look like?
That's good. I did a lot of reflecting on that when I was in the hospital. Actually, I did a lot of reflecting. So the first question, repeat the first question for me.
How important is reading?
How important is reading? How important is reading? Sit down, family. I would say this. If you're not, I'm not saying, what is it? Fictional, nonfiction? What's the fake one? The
Fiction.
one that's just fiction, right?
Fiction.
So when you talk about reading, how important is reading? If you're reading the fiction, right? That's not important. That's, hey, I'm learning a story in your imagination. You feel good.
Right.
The other information is what reading those books that are going to help you learn. People say, hey, if you wanna hide the secrets of the world, you put it in books. Who reads a book after 18 or after they leave college? Rarely anybody.
Yeah.
Everything you need to know about the world and how to do things is in books. Nothing we're doing now is essentially new.
Nope.
It's just done a different way, different avenue, right? So reading books, if you're not reading books to help improve, work on your personal development, self-reflection, right? You are committing life suicide. That's how important it is.
Wow.
Yeah. People are like, oh, the book's boring. So is your life. Oh, the book's so long. Your attention span is very, very small.
Jeez.
Oh, I don't have money for the book. That's why you have the internet, free books. So,
oh man,
if you think about it, if you're not reading the books, but this goes back down to where do you want to be, right? Because if you're just reading books to read books, you're gonna be like, oh, I read that book, right? I read that book. I know about that book. Right. But what did you get? You don't read books to just read books. You got to read books to understand and implement. You got to read to teach.
Needs to be a purpose behind your reading.
Yes, you got to read to teach. So I hated reading books when I was growing up in school. I love the Harry Potters and the Breaking Dawn and all. That was good. It was the fantasy stuff. I'm one of those sci-fi guys. I like that stuff. But when it came down to reading like history books that weren't really true, give you half the history, or some of these other books, I'm like, dude, why am I reading this? So the system, once again, is what? Is developing us into not wanting to read other books. Right? If people haven't noticed, they're molding us the way they want. It's basically like the Matrix, when you think about it.
It is the Matrix.
We're plugged in. Everybody's plugged in. We're not literally plugged in, but we're still plugged in.
Right.
And the system is showing us what to do. And you got to figure out how to get outside of the system. It's a race. You got to take the red pill or the blue pill, man.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you're going to believe, man, the blue pill, I don't know the whole saying, the blue pill, I go back into the system,
right,
and I'm living that boring, mundane, stale, stagnant, slow life. Or I take this red pill, I might slap on the ground a couple times, I might be broke, all this, but eventually I could have that success.
Right.
So it's like, man, do I do the blue or do the red? Man, for me, I was like, I'm so sick and tired of the blue. I have to take the red now. There's no going back for me, because if I go back, I'm probably gonna die. I'm gonna end up dead. Which, when you think about, we're all going to die.
Right.
And a lot of people are scared to think about, hey, you, looking at you, you are gonna pass away. Unfortunately, I'm gonna pass away. So it's not about you passing away. It's about, what are you gonna do while you're alive?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Right.
You talked about leaving that footprint. What's your legacy? At the end, once I finish building my legacy, my legacy is just getting started. Me being in the financial industry is me just getting started. Right?
Right.
I'm not going to be Bryan DeCaul. I'm going to be in the financial industry for the next 30, 40 years. I will, but not in the capacity that I am now. So I'm using my business, right? My business to what? build income, build cash flow, so I can take the cash flow and expand out. I want to own my own music label. I want to own my own suit line, perfume line, cologne line, watches, rings. I want to do it all because I can.
Because you can.
Because, ask me, why'd you do it? Because I can.
No.
I hear a good story that I listened to a couple years ago, and it's the story of the person that is drowning. You guys have heard of that story, right? You heard of it?
The person that's drowning?
Yeah. So the drowning person, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have an individual, right? And let's just say we were on a boat, and this individual falls off, right? And they're praying, they're asking, hey, somebody save me, somebody save me, somebody save me, right? And let's just say you come by in another boat and you throw him a life raft, right?
Right.
Because he's drowning, right? You throw him the life raft, and he's like, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. So you drive on by, because you're doing your thing, right? You're doing your thing, right? Mm-hmm. Next thing comes, a big old, cruise ship comes by, right? And you're, I'm drowning, right? They send you a lifeboat to come out to you. No, I'm waiting for the Lord. I'm waiting for God to save me. I'm waiting for somebody else to do the same, right? And the last thing that comes by, we come by in a helicopter, and like, hey, we're here to save you.
Right.
And what does he say? No, waiting for the Lord to save me. And the person dies. They pass away. They drown.
Right.
Honestly, from stupidity. But they drown, right? They go up to heaven and they ask, well, hey, Lord, why didn't you save me? I sent you Daniel. I sent you Oksana. I sent you the cruise ship. I sent you the helicopter.
Right.
What were you expecting to happen? He sent you everything to help you save your life.
Right.
And you what? You didn't accept it because it wasn't what you were looking for.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. Man, dude, I appreciate you coming by.
It was awesome, man. I had a pleasure.
Man. This is dope, and you're definitely coming back. Like this,
we gotta do a round three, man.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. It has to happen because, the conversations that we have here are conversations that we've had before in private, that I have in private, and I believe a lot of people are having these conversations.
Yeah.
And I want to see people move past the conversation and into the action phase of it. And a lot of people are getting it. I believe 2020 is birthing a lot of entrepreneurs in business. I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, what happened in 2020, we're going to see.
When you talk about that, Daniel, right now, 2020 it's literally starting the next decade of entrepreneurs.
I believe it.
It's not working a 9 to 5 and retiring there. It's doing your own thing, building your own thing, and retiring from that.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs, right? People are starting their own things. Those are going to be the backbone of what's going on. So you have you got the industrial age, right?
Right.
You have after that. What do you have after the industrial age? You have the information age, right? You have the technology age. Now we're heading into what? Entrepreneurial age. It's the age of the entrepreneur. There's so many things going on. You just have to really figure out what you want to do, man.
It's big, and I believe it. And I believe that the children that's going to come from these people too, they're going to move in and do it. So, hey, look, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning into this conversation.
Thanks, guys. Had fun with you.
How can they get in touch with you, Bryan, to see everything that you have going on, to follow, support, and to hear more what you have to say?
Absolutely. So my name is Bryan DeCaul II, right? And you can find me on social media handles, right? So as far as Facebook, Instagram, I have a professional email that I use. My phone number, guys, just drop a chat, DM. We want to help you out. We want you to become financially savvy, because if you never become financially savvy, you're simply just gonna be struggling really the rest of your life. Because we got to get that money, thing out the way. And we didn't talk a lot about how to do that, but we did talk about really the psychology of your thought process, because it's really, how do you think about money?
Right.
Right? How is money tooling you, or are you using the money as a tool?
Right.
And we have to show you how to build that psychology, and it starts from the bottom and working up and doing basic things, like you said, having fun. So guys, it was a pleasure talking with everybody.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Thursday, for another amazing episode of The Sit Down. I'm your gracious host, Daniel Tademy, signing off. Love you guys, and I will see you next time. Give this video a like and share it.
Share it, like it,
somebody
send it.
that need to hear what we talked about.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.